I think it's fair to say that the Royal College of Physicians has not been covering itself in glory recently, from multiple leadership figures resigning over their handling of the EGM surrounding the physician associate fiasco, attempting to mislead the fellows. There is now a fresh, hot, steaming pile of badness for them to be contending with. And this comes following a report from the Federation of Royal Colleges of Physicians of the UK, which is a joint body consisting of three big important groups, which include the Royal College of Physicians of London, what most people mean when they talk about the RCP, but also the Royal College of Physicians of Edinburgh and the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Glasgow. So essentially what has happened is a pretty devastating failure around the MRCP examination. Out of 1,451 candidates for the MRCP Part 2 that was taken in September 2023, 283 people were given the wrong exam result. 61 candidates who were told that they had failed the exam had actually passed, but perhaps even more devastatingly, 222 candidates who were told that they had passed have in fact failed. Now, for all of those people who are understandably wondering, well, why is this such a big deal? People fail exams. The MRCP Part 2 is one part of three very, very difficult exams that are taken to become a member of the college, to progress to higher specialty training in the physicianly specialties, which include things like cardiology, neurology, gastroenterology, etc., etc. And completion of all three of these exams, including the clinical part, which is called PACES. In most places, you need to have passed this exam to work as a medical registrar, to be the med-reg, which is often the senior most medical doctor in the hospital overnight, the one that gets sent all of the most complex and unwell patients, and managing essentially a metric shed load of clinical uncertainty and risk. It's considered widely one of the hardest jobs in the hospital. Now, the letter from them says, our own audit processes have identified the issue, which can confirm is isolated to this specific exam. There is no fault on the part of any candidate. UK resident doctors who are likely to have taken this exam are at an early level of practice and were under the supervision of consultant physicians, and therefore no new risk to patient safety. Let me tell you, boys and girls, that is blatantly not true. As a hospital doctor, I don't think that's a great thing for them to be publishing. If they genuinely believe that to be true, then they need to be speaking to a lot more resident doctors. Those med-regs are working incredibly hard on their own. And it is very possible, given the time frames involved, that people will have passed Part 2, passed PACES in the diet after, and then accepted a higher training post or gone on to the med-reg rota. How did this happen? Well, we don't know. Nothing has actually been said yet. What's exceptionally odd about this, I think at least, is that this issue has only been reported in early 2025, more than a year later. It's since been made clear that all of these people will need to resit the exam, and that seems to be coming from both the Royal Colleges and the GMC. Because so much time has passed, people may have progressed in their careers, be working on that med-reg rota, taken up other posts that rely on them having full MRCP. And equally, 61 candidates that had actually passed, they may have turned down jobs or not been able to progress, so on and so forth. It's a problem that runs in both directions. And what's really, really bizarre is how much time it's taken. Unless someone was randomly auditing the results more than a year later, I don't really know why you would do that. I think what it's left many people wondering is, did someone actually know this whole time? And personally, not knowing anything about it, my suspicion, just knowing how these organisations tend to work, I suspect that someone or some people have known about this issue for a while, and either someone has come clean after a while, or the wrong person has essentially found out about this and gone digging. But time will tell, I'm sure. What we can all agree on, I'm sure, is that this is a very big deal and a very, very major screw up. We may well see legal action arising from this for lost earnings alone, and some of the links that I've come across for support options for trainees affected by this issue are in the description down below. It is a horrible outcome for the people that will now need to resit, and I really truly hope they get the compensation they deserve.